Hey guys, happy holidays. It's me again and I'm here for another quick unboxing and a brief comparison video. So today we're going to do a quick unboxing of the Mi 10T Pro 5G. It's one of the top 5 flagship killer phones this 2020 according to a survey done by GSM Arena. And in order to figure out if it's worthy of being one of the top 5 flagship killer phones this 2020, we're also going to do a brief comparison against a flagship phone, the Oneplus 8 Pro, which is one of the top 5 flagship phones according to a poll done by GSM Arena. So without further ado, here's a quick unboxing of the Mi 10T Pro 5G.
I can't believe the night lay waste to all we'd given, but honestly, you've gotta know that this ain't living, but we could run from Elysium and let it burn, let it burn. You've gotta know that nothing lasts forever. I can't believe myself. I never thought that this would be our end, but it's nothing new. And my lover's honesty, I can push it back down if I have to, if you want me to, 'cause we can run. The stars they fall all for you. So tell me now, what's left to lose if we run?
So the Mi 10T Pro 5G has just been released September this year, while the Oneplus 8 Pro has been released second quarter of this year, last April. So I bought this Oneplus 8 Pro around May for $50,000, while I bought this Mi 10T Pro for around $22,000 just this December. so almost half the price of the flagship. Now, a flagship killer phone is something that has all or most of the specifications and features of a flagship phone, but at an incredibly cheaper cost. Now, with almost half the price of the flagship I bought, is Mi 10T Pro 5G worthy to be on the top flagship killer this 2020? Let's find out. Now, let's start with the build. Both phones have front and back Corning Gorilla Glass 5 and an aluminum frame. When it comes to weight, the Mi 10T Pro is heavier at 218 grams compared to 199 grams for the Oneplus 8 Pro. The Oneplus 8 Pro is IP68 rated, so it's dust and water resistant, while the Mi 10T Pro is not. The back of the Mi 10T Pro is really a fingerprint magnet, while the Oneplus 8 Pro isn't, thanks to its matte powdery finish. Both devices have the same chipset, the powerful Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 7nm, and the same Adreno 650 GPU as well. There is no card slot on both phones, but that is because both devices have 256 gigs of internal storage. The OnePlus 8 Pro I have has the 12 gigs of RAM, making it the fastest device I've used so far, while the Mi 10T Pro has only 8 gigs of RAM, which is actually not that bad. Now let's move on to the display, which is where I think the flagship killer Mi 10T Pro cannot compete with the flagship OnePlus 8 Pro. The OnePlus 8 Pro has 6.78-inch 90.8% screen-to-body ratio, while the Mi 10T Pro has 6.67-inch 85.2% screen-to-body ratio. The OnePlus 8 Pro has a fluid AMOLED true-to-life display and top-notch color accuracy that supports 1 billion shades of color, making it the best display by far in my opinion. And that is compared to the other flagship devices, like the Samsung Note 20 Ultra, that can only support 16 million colors. Now going back to the Mi 10T Pro, unfortunately, Xiaomi opted for an IPS LCD display. However, I would say that this is by far the best LCD display I've seen so far, probably because of its 144 Hz adaptive display. The flagship OnePlus 8 Pro, on the other hand, has 120 Hz adaptive display. The Mi 10T Pro only has FHD Plus resolution with 395 ppi density, while the OnePlus 8 Pro has FHD Plus and QHD Plus resolution with 513 ppi density. The OnePlus 8 Pro also has a record max brightness of 1444 nits, higher than any 2020 flagship phones, while the Mi 10T Pro has a maximum 650 nits. Overall, I think the flagship OnePlus 8 Pro really has one of the best displays by far in 2020, even when comparing to other flagships.
Shut down! An ally hero has been defeated! An ally hero has been defeated! Shut down! 8. An enemy hero has been defeated! An enemy hero has been defeated! Your base is under attack!
My sword will please
Shut
your
down.
soul.
Shut down! Your base is under attack! Your base is under attack! Your base is under attack!
Protect allied turret. I can.
Nice assist! An enemy
Protect
hero
allied
has been
turret.
defeated! An ally hero has been defeated! Your base is under attack!
be back. Don't you worry.
Now let's go to the camera, where I think the Mi 10T Pro really brings in a lot of the flagship features. The OnePlus 8 Pro has a quad camera that has 48 megapixel main camera, joined by 8 megapixel telephoto sensor, a 48 megapixel ultra-wide sensor, and a 5 megapixel color filter camera. The Mi 10T Pro, on the other hand, has an impressive 108 megapixel main camera, 13 megapixel ultra-wide sensor, and a 5 megapixel macro lens. And there is no telephoto sensor on the Mi 10T Pro.
I can't believe the night lay waste to all we'd given. But honestly, you've gotta know that this ain't living. But we could run from Elysium and let it burn, let it burn. You've gotta know that nothing lasts forever.
The OnePlus 8 Pro can record 4K video at 30 or 60 frames per second, while the Mi 10T Pro can record 8K at 30 frames per second or 4K at 30 or 60 frames per second. The front camera is 16 megapixel for the OnePlus 8 Pro, while the Mi 10T Pro has 20 megapixel front camera. Both devices' front camera can record 1080p at 30 frames per second. Now let's go to the other features and specifications of both devices. The OnePlus 8 Pro has 4510 mAh battery that supports 30 watts fast charging, fast wireless charging at 30 watts as well, and reverse wireless charging, which means you can charge any supported device using your OnePlus 8 Pro. The Mi 10T Pro, on the other hand, has a huge 5000 mAh battery, supports fast charging at 33 watts, but doesn't support wireless and reverse wireless charging. Both devices have NFC, have loud stereo speakers, supports facial recognition and fingerprint sensor. However, do note that since the Mi 10T Pro only has an LCD display, the fingerprint sensor is placed on the power button, while the OnePlus 8 Pro's fingerprint sensor is placed on the screen. Also, both devices are 5G capable. The two devices don't have a headphone jack. However, you can use a Type-C to a headphone jack adapter. This also comes free in the box when you buy the Mi 10T Pro. For the Antutu benchmark, the OnePlus 8 Pro scored 573/276, while the Mi 10T Pro surprisingly scored 563/961. Pretty powerful considering the price of the phone. Overall, the Mi 10T Pro 5G is worthy to be on the top 5 flagship killer phones this 2020. Having flagship features for just half the price of the top flagships, you certainly can't beat the value for money. However, do note that there are things that are being less prioritized in order to achieve this kind of price point. In the case of the Mi 10T Pro, it's the LCD display. But again, as I've said, it's one of the best LCD displays I've seen so far. However, as my friend once said, you cannot compare a Lamborghini with a Toyota Camry. So that being said, if in case money is not a problem, I would definitely go for a flagship, particularly the Oneplus 8 Pro or the upcoming Oneplus 9 Pro. The specifications and features are just top-notch, and you are not compromising on anything. So that is all for now. I hope you liked the video. If you do, click on the like button and subscribe.